Good afternoon, Director Hargun Chalaka, ADCP here. Today I shall be going through ASIO's investigation, medical issues, medical evaluations, medical standards and safeguards to protect health treatments with the South African military phone, otherwise known as the LRAD, long-range acoustic device, Havana syndrome, dealing with subsonic disruptions, some of the enterprise infrastructure solutions that we have in place for dealing with these disturbance disruptions and subsonic telephone attacks.
Now to a CBS News investigation of a mysterious ailment commonly called Havana syndrome, affecting U.S. officials who have reported physical pain conditions while serving overseas. We're hearing from former U.S. government operatives about what they say are the consequences of the ailment. A few spoke with senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge about their struggle for recognition and financial and medical help from the government. Catherine, good morning. What did they tell you?
Good morning, Nate. Working through multiple intelligence and legal contacts, CBS News has identified more than a dozen current and former government operatives, and in some cases, their families who told us the government has not had their backs.
My brain is broken.
Marriage is the beginning.
At her small backyard wedding, former CIA analyst Erica Stith felt exhausted and overwhelmed from the other day that changed her life.
Everything kind of changed in an instant.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Stith, who says she held a top-secret security clearance, believes she was targeted by an intense attack of energy waves.
I would liken it to kind of an electronic sniping.
That she says led to crippling consequences.
Nausea.
Yes.
Headaches.
Yes.
Blurred vision.
Yes.
Balance and memory issues.
Yes.
Are you suffering?
Yes.
Suffering that she says began in 2018 while on assignment in Europe for the CIA. At first, Stith blamed a prior concussion, but soon became so unsteady she fell down the stairs.
Who put it together?
My mom. And honestly, she had been asking me for 6 months, well, this Havana syndrome thing. Do you think you could have that?
Havana syndrome is a mysterious set of cognitive and neurological ailments named after cases reported among diplomats at the U.S. Embassy in Cuba.
It is a well-conceived global program to attack Americans.
Former Deputy National Security Advisor Charles Kupperman tracked suspected Havana syndrome attacks for the Trump administration.
The number, if you include family members, is close to 1,000.
1,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And not just overseas. Kupperman said 2 government staffers were attacked here, just steps from the White House.
It tells us that somebody is very serious about sending us a message that they can reach out and do very bad things to our employees at the highest levels.
Last year, President Biden signed legislation for medical and financial help.
My administration is coordinating a government-wide effort to respond to these incidents.
But this email obtained by CBS News suggests access to a key government treatment program for some victims could end in 3 weeks.
For us to abandon them now is really a disgraceful act.
After CBS contacted the National Security Council, a spokesman said they are committed to ensuring that our current and former personnel receive the specialized medical care that they need for as long as they need it.
Here are my MRI results.
Stith's documents show she spent months going back and forth with the CIA for care as a former employee, but ultimately declined to share her medical records with the agency.
By the time they came back to me and said, okay, we have a process in place, I had already successfully talked my way into a treatment program, and I had managed to make that happen privately and have been paying for it myself.
You gave up on the process?
Completely.
What do you want people to know?
We got this as a result of serving our country, and we deserve to be taken care of.
Stith, who now uses hearing aids and takes up to 20 pills a day, applied for permanent disability through the CIA and faces an uncertain future.
With all the medication, can you start a family?
No. There are medications that are counterindicated for pregnancy. It would not be safe. And on top of that, I'm not sure I'll ever be able to work again. I mean, I've lost everything.
In response to our investigation, the administration's top coordinator on the issue said, "We remain intensely focused on providing rapid and effective care to affected personnel." The CIA said it doesn't comment on individual cases, but emphasized the agency is committed to ensuring access to care, adding, "We continue to bring all resources to bear to explore all possible causes in our ongoing investigations." So far, the CIA does not tie a foreign or hostile actor to these reported incident scale.
Catherine, thank you very much.
A naval warship operating in international waters. Request you establish communications, identify yourself, and state your intentions.
With security budgets and resources stretched to the limit, cost-effective wide-area perimeter security solutions are increasingly in demand. Unfortunately, today's perimeter security systems can only provide detection and surveillance capabilities through the integration of radar, motion sensors, cameras, and the like. LRAD Corporation's LRAD RX system delivers a vital capability that enhances security by enabling security personnel to interact with a potential threat.
Unidentified small boat. You are approaching a United States warship.
The LRAD RX's focused and powerful acoustic projection can be delivered to a potential threat at distances of up to 2 miles, providing security teams with the ability to warn, notify, and dissuade potential threats at distances well beyond a secured perimeter or exclusion zone. By turning passive surveillance systems and command and control centers into remote first responders, the RX provides a permanent perimeter presence, reduces false alarms, and protects field security personnel from potentially deadly situations. The LRAD RX utilizes advanced sound reproduction technologies and innovative audio materials to produce a focused, powerful sound pattern that can deliver clearly intelligible messages and warning sounds to distant targets. The LRAD RX deploys this technology in a rugged, fully integrated, remotely controlled platform that can be operated across a TCP IP network. The LRAD RX has a maximum continuous output of 153 decibels at 1 meter, with 100% plain voice intelligibility in any language up to distances of 750 meters. The LRAD RX system stands on its own mounting plate and uses 120 to 240 AC with a DC option for remote battery and solar-powered sites. A single Ethernet connection controls its positioning, voice broadcasts, deterrent tone, camera video, high-powered searchlight, IR camera, laser dazzler, and other options. A high-precision servo drive mechanism with built-in absolute encoders positions and aims the acoustic emitter, zoom camera, and high-intensity searchlight. Positioning and tracking can be accomplished by sending the LRAD RX absolute coordinates or with a manual jog commands using a joystick. When integrated with radar, the RX pan and tilt system can slew and cue quickly, moving up to 60 degrees per second, to provide automated intruder alerts. The LRAD RX system was developed specifically for use as part of the U.S. Navy's shipboard protection system. It was designed for installation and deployment on board naval ships and is the only remotely operated acoustic hailing device to be selected by the U.S. Navy after competitive testing. Fully weatherproof and designed to withstand harsh maritime conditions, the RX successfully passed a full round of military testing that included shipboard shock explosions.
3, 2, 1, fire.
The U.S. Navy determined that the LRAD RX had the only integrated pan and tilt drive that worked reliably, and that the RX was the loudest, most intelligible acoustic hailing system commercially available. Since LRAD's adoption by the U.S. Navy, LRAD RX systems have been deployed all over the world on military and commercial vessels, airports, seaports, military bases, oil platforms, nuclear power plants, correctional facilities, dams, and other critical facilities. Nuclear power plants and liquid natural gas processing facilities are deploying RX systems to protect their waterside approaches. The ports of Corpus Christi, Texas, and Raslaufen, Qatar, recently installed advanced security systems featuring the LRAD RX to broadcast hails and warnings to inbound ships not responding to radio calls. Oil and gas companies are utilizing LRAD RX systems off the coast of Australia and in the Arabian Gulf, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Bay of Bengal to warn fishermen and intruders away from oil platforms. LRAD RX systems are proving effective in keeping flocks of birds away from runways when aircraft are most vulnerable to potentially dangerous bird strikes. Since 2005, avian radar leader Detect Inc. has used and integrated over 250 LRAD acoustic hailing devices in the U.S., Canada, and Europe. According to Detect, LRAD has consistently exceeded their expectations in efficacy and reliability when compared to conventional devices and copycat products. LRAD Corporation, the global leader in acoustic hailing devices, has fielded thousands of LRAD systems in more than 35 countries around the world. Using highly intelligible long-range communication, long-range acoustic device systems determine intent, resolve uncertain situations peacefully, protect property, and save lives on both sides of the device. For more information on LRAD Corporation's long-range acoustic product line, please visit us at www.lradx.com.
ASIO investigation, medical issues, medical evaluations, medical standards, and safeguards to protect health treatments with the South African military phone. Medical subsonic weapons. Describe here the hearing and balance disorders with trauma with the comms. Emotions, anxiety, fear, depression, anger. Articulate the basic science concepts of neurosensory disorders. Incorporate evidence-based practices into approaches supporting care and treatment methodologies. Summarize methods and tools known to reduce the risk of injury to hearing and vision in a home comm setting. If they sent them in, they got arrested. Why am I schizophrenic? It's an incorrect diagnosis, false diagnosis. Include the police LRAD with all medical evaluations. Clinical condition to be seen in a relatively fast amount of time. Timing. Does it coincide with other factors? They're often framing, driving, coordinating, hovering. Show email work, and I'm waiting to go to my new house. Show the medicos the email work. Affects the ability to see test results, to get an appointment. Everyone is against these investigations. Email accusations, incorrect diagnosis, include comms photos, need to continue analysis. It's a trying situation. It's dangerous in a home comm setting. It's a trying situation. Can't see my children. 77P77, the effects on children. The people putting you on meds know MEGA. What happened in the appeal process? What symptoms belong to what diagnosis? If my parents are worried, why do they need to put me on medication? As per 191-209, 210, 211 and 198. So some of the symptoms, now this is particularly for children, for kids, symptoms: missing events, expressing sadness, anxiety, agitation, make children unsuccessful. They make you unsuccessful. Deteriorating physical appearance and neglect personal welfare. Sleeping all day, often disturbed sleep. Withdrawing from friends and family, losing interest in hobbies, performing poorly at work or school, dramatic and frequent mood changes, reckless violence, self-destructive behaviour, feelings of guilt, shame and failure, desperation, feeling there's no way out or no solution, the constant harassment, constant harassment, feeling there's no way out or no solution to the problem, giving away prized possessions, making a will or affairs together, securing weapons, pills, or other things that can be used to harm. The LRAD team's medication program ensures we've got to focus on that. You're constantly defeated. It's a sign that the Liberal phone teams they provide, and now Labor do these LRAD teams, they have these teams and they mega-ray everyone. They can just watch you and talk to you. It can be a sign that the Liberal Party LRAD teams provide training to all the above areas. South African Forum on Children, kindergarten, school and kids. This is with the Ku Klux Klan cops. This is in 31st of the 7th, 2014. Sexual harassment, victims of children, psychologically harassed. It's not a safe environment. Scared to go to class, can't look at the blackboard, living in a climate of fear for students. Scared in class hallways, live in a climate of fear, scared to go to school. Teachers and parents have reported cases in the past few years. Follow the cases into the medical condition. People, children that are hearing voices, so you need to follow the cases into the medical condition. We sent an email, National Security, around the 31st of July 2014. So noises of fights filled the house. Simulations, 151. Noises of fights fill the house. Victims rush around as there's a situation taking place, often with more than one person involved. Simulations cause trauma. What are the different scenarios played out over the police telephone LRAD? Transfer to hospital, manage them on medications. Victims are surrounded with tag teams supporting the simulation. Now supporting the simulation, they get people to come around. Medicos, ambulance, fire, neighbours, people that they coordinate. What happened in casualty? Question, what happened in casualty? What was the communication between the parties? Question, did they treat any wounds or superficial injuries? Question, tools, specific equipment used to maim or dismember victims. When it said it was when they said it was Robert Meager, they murdered them. They coordinated with this LRAD and they were murdered. They knew it was and they killed them. What happened when they said it was They warned them if they wouldn't stop. Syria. What happens when they start using this in Syria? 198. We asked what happens because these LRAD people, they go to the war on terror. They train the police. What happens when they do this to the terrorists? They attack checkpoints, etc. Shifting the security environment by undermining, subverting, and denying rights. Terrorism is an ongoing condition. So for intelligence, terrorism is a condition of Satanism. You want the butcher effect, the constant harassment when they use this. Terrorism is an illness. The condition of terrorism. It's a part of everyday struggle, fighting the LRAD. Medical safeguards to protect health treatments. What are the standards for medical treatments? I had muscles, I lost them, I became obese and plagued by illness on the medication. The medication debilitates you. Harassed in bed, it's like concussion. How many people have they used it on? How many people have they used the LRAD on? Do they issue a notice that there will be a sleep disturbance? Do they issue a notice that they'll wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning when they start their shift at 4:45, the morning alarm for federal police? What are the reasons for common sleep disturbance with the LRAD? Describe the diagnostic strategies for sleep disturbances. What experience have the medicos had in this area? What are the pharmacological and non-pharmacological treatments for sleep disturbances and fatigue? The disruptive effects could easily be detected on humans. This LRAD, it's easily detected on humans. Project Satan. The condition of Satan is inability to perform tasks, difficult to get about, disorientation, changes, epileptical seizures, migraines, The full range of psychological effects are unknown. The effects of Satanism, the condition of terrorism. They harass you and harass you until you want to kill everything. Condition of Satanism, condition of terrorism. In the 70s it was known as condition of Satanism. In the 1970s, condition of terrorism. It takes a long time for analysis. Breathing problems, harassed in bed, threats, panic, faintish, loss of appetite. Caused accidents. I got burnt, broke the iron. I ran into the garage door and they called the police. I ran into the garage door and they called the police. Occupied my room, concussion on the body, health effects. Domestic violence, abuse. Victims who are routinely harassed develop high blood pressure, a constant state of anxiety, stress, stomach ulcers, mental health issues. They require people they can trust. 40% men and 60% women disappear. It can immobilise you. The point is ASIO are doing that. We need to adapt accordingly. It's a diagnosable mental condition. Is it a diagnosable mental condition? They say you're schizophrenic. We'll get to that later. They have an agreement. As soon as you say you're hearing voices, the doctors automatically put you on schizophrenic. They have an agreement, signed agreement. Does it meet the criteria? Are they going to get me when I'm ready? Signs of stress, stuffing my diet, exercise, stuffing, ruining my exercise, ruining my sleep work. It's better to ask them what's wrong. Do they offer any other treatments? We ask the medicos, do they offer any other treatments? Does the diagnosis meet the, do they diagnose and does the condition meet the US Defence Health Agency medical? If you're getting help for your symptoms, we're making sure people get the care and treatment they deserve. It worsens. Your condition worsens on the medication. Can lead to anger and outbursts, fights. You're not getting the help you need. Can lead to anger, outbursts, fights. Why are people hesitant to access resources when there are so many mental health facilities, so much money spent? Does it give them the right to do what they want? We have to cope with their medication program as well. You have to cope with the medication program. Have they been successful? Question. Have they been successful in treating anybody? They fail them. The doctors fail them and put them back on medication. What if they remove the LRAD? So I was ready to go to Hollywood. That's 209, 9th of June 2016. Hospital industry standard protocols. They're medical advice based on industry standard protocols developed by physicians to help determine what's best for the patient. What question? What are the various levels of care? They're already charged with LRADing 150,000 farmers. They're already charged with LRADing 150,000 farmers. We can do that very quickly. Every time Hornsby put me in hospital, they set me up. Patients are admitted with the same health issues. So that patients are admitted with the same health issues over and over and over again. Wasteful, cost resources, detrimental. They're required to provide a quality service. Already have a customised program. They picked me up and put me in hospital. I stayed in there for a month. Control order and management when released. They're happy to reduce the readmission. It's a collaborative effort. What are the levels of patient satisfaction, degree of care? Nothing makes a difference. Nothing you say makes a difference to the doctors. Patients deteriorating health, 210 quality of service. Do the Nurses Practice Authority doctors have advanced degrees to provide primary, acute and specialty health services, masters, postmasters or doctoral degrees? 1.1 million men and women who gave their lives physical activity, overweight, risk of high blood pressure, stroke, type 2 diabetes. Have they referred me to see a medical specialist? Persistent cough for 2 years. Glandular fever not diagnosed. I solved the cases. Harassed by the police using subsonic weapons. I solved the cases. Harassed by the police using subsonic weapons. What are the health behaviours? Question. We asked the medicos, what are the health behaviours? They have an agreement. Answer is, what are the health behaviours? They have an agreement. Doctors, hospital and carers, social service. They shared their experience. They have an agreement. As soon as you say hearing voices, they automatically they have an agreement, a signed agreement between the LRAD people and the medico and the mental health. Some of the reactions from the police telephone LRAD, not leaving the house, fear, mistrust, breathing difficulty, spasms, cramps, stitches, nausea, nervous tension, digestion, bowel problems, hyperventilation, dizziness, migraines, shakes, Parkinson's type nervous symptoms, head shake, fear of going to sleep, reduced immunity, flu, fever, shock, hassling me out of bed, hassling me out of my house. South African, the rule is they can only use it on, this is a Ku Klux Klan, they can only use it on black people. Have the Liberals ever driven anyone out of their house with the LRAD? Have the cops ever picked anyone up they've driven from their home? Yes, who were they? All victims have passed away on medication in the LRAD. Medical neglect. A lot of doctors and specialist staff have been involved in an adverse event, liability and the legal ramifications in case of mistake. Medical professionals in some cases, apprehension of the federal government in cases of neglect, of negligence and malpractice, are protected in cases of negligence and malpractice. They can, once the LRAD searchlight, LRAD, with a searchlight, they attach the searchlight to the LRAD, they can look into anyone's house. They can look into anyone's house and they can put the voice right there next to your ear or in the walls. With a searchlight they can look into anyone's house up to many, many kilometres. I think up to 50 kilometres now. They're on the communication towers. So once the searchlight network is removed, they can remove that network of LRADs. Focus on patients being better and being better physicians instead of worrying about legal costs and litigation. Many patients are victims of the police telephone. Reductions in false diagnosis, misdiagnosis. The doctors strive to be better professionals, provide a quality of care as per 198. Do they have quality metrics? Do they provide opportunities for further training and development? Do they say it doesn't happen? The doctors say this doesn't happen. The LRAD doesn't happen. ASIO Direction, Medical Affairs, ASIO Investigation, FBI page. It does happen. The doctors need to deny the telephone attack to avoid neglect and cases of misdiagnosis. Do the state government protect the doctors? Do the government protect the doctors? ASIO advises. ASIO advises to avoid neglect and worries of the legal system. They need to have a comprehensive treatment plan for patients. So we have engagements and things planned. Navy engagements and things planned. That coincides. The 1st of July 2016. Our guys got killed doing the work. Medication assessment. We can find further improvement and moderate reform. So they're the William Terrell people putting me on medication. What do the telephone groups start their medication programs in other countries? When they remove the Mega Ray LRAD telephone, there will be a huge reduction in cost savings. The government, ASIO, need to build on the progress we made. ASIO Commission has provided recommendations. We have produced a wide set of recommendations on reforming health. The reforms are due to the use of military weapons in domestic applications on victims in their homes. ASIO and interagency partners have arrested all the Mega Ray searchlight groups. They're wanted. The health officials agree that there needs to be a better professional quality of care. 228 and 198. The deregistered doctors need to resign. need to resit the exam, their medical exam course. The doctors kept putting people on medication with the LRAD. Well, they all got put away. Police telephone groups put them on medications. The LRAD people put them on medications. Month of stay, 1 month stay, cost of stay. I can't see my children because I was schizophrenic. The doctors make patients say it's not happening. The doctors tell you that it's not happening or they won't release you. It's the same people involved in these cases that say I'm crazy. It's the people involved in these cases that say I'm crazy. What is the level of patient satisfaction? How many patients have improved their condition? No patients improve their condition. Do patients need to start their lives again? You need to constantly start your life again. Mega-ray police telephone concussion symptoms. They keep them, the symptoms keep you from performing normal activity. The LRAD symptoms keep you from performing normal activity. What percentage of patients attributed to mega-ray telephone? Roughly 82% of mental patients are attributed to hearing voices from the LRAD. The percentage was 82%. The Army did surveys in 2016. 82% of LRAD patients were on mental health. 82% of patients are subject from the LRAD. Do relapse patients with symptoms coincide with mega-ray use? When you relapse, does it coincide with mega-ray use? It does. 6 guiding principles of cognitive rehabilitation best practices, evidence-based practices, including research evidence, clinical experience, knowledge of patients, know all the facts, keep patients bounce back from different experiences and adapt and overcome, help patients bounce back from difficult experiences and adapt and overcome adversity, build on a foundation for process for developing strong relationships with patients, acknowledge details, identify factors that contributed, acknowledge factors that contributed, don't leave anything out, problems they manifest or contribute to the illness, reduce limitations on daily activities, participate more fully in life, promote realistic expectations of recovery. Patients develop self-confidence, be in charge of their lives, improve treatment outcomes. Does their therapy work? No. Does the doctor's mental health program work? No, it doesn't. It's important to build trust and collaborative relationship. Start by acknowledging many of the factors that affect patients' situation and ongoing symptoms. Ongoing. ASIO investigation, medical issues, medical evaluations, medical standards, and safeguards to protect health treatments with the South African military phone, or the LRAD. South African military phone because LRAD cops, they're at the operations centre. This is from South African intelligence. NB. And Chinese intelligence respectively, the Howie unit. Searchlight, you can look into any room. The mega-ray makes people sick. Without a standard of care, what is the hospital waiting period times, preventative solutions and preventing illness? Their program is worse than the current standard of care, is ASIO's conclusion. Their program is worse than the current standard of care. Their medicos show some sort of confusion or lack of understanding of the theory of medical concepts of clinical care. Is it evidence-based care? Identify the credibility of their inferior program. They make people drowsy. Patients find it hard to function on medication. Facing rejection, prejudice, and various forms of discrimination, the medicos say patients that are lazy, sloppy, gluttonous, clumsy, lacking willpower and discipline as symptoms as a lifelong condition. They consider it as a lifelong condition. Lazy, clumsy. The medication makes you lazy, clumsy, sloppy, gluttonous, lacking willpower and discipline as a lifelong condition. We need a damage assessment following these attacks. Some more. So PBS medical fraud. Are the medications safe and effective? Are they spending money wisely? They were arrested. Kickback schemes, medication kickback schemes, waiting on schemes. Prescriptions without a doctor present. Abuse of patients' personal health data. Further investigations are necessary. ASIO ensuring all medical programs are safe, clinically necessary and cost effective. ASIO have ascertained that they're stealing my pay. They made numerous reports of them defrauding me. Feelings that affect your body. Feelings affect your body. Talk yourself into getting sick. They chose to make people sick. They make people afraid. It's important to look good and feel good about yourself. Rewards and medicos. The medicos failed to mention it was my reward money. Up to $3 million, Daniel Morcom, Michelle Pogmore and William Terrell. Notification of the murderer. Solved cases. They already stole the reward money. They collaborated to steal the reward money. When someone solves a case, they put them on medication. They're the people involved that are behind it. The people involved in the cases are the ones behind it. People that report incidents also become homeless. They're trained professionals. 274. They're trained professionals. They know what they're doing, answer the calls. Then they are directed to medical psychiatric emergency. The medical professionals are then trained to handle a mental health issue. Police incident report professional. They direct them to mental illness when they solve a case. ASIO streamlining and standardising health treatments across Australia, full implementation. Actual diagnosis, non-responsive and anxiety. The military easily detect the sound. The military can easily detect the sound. It's very subsonic, very low amplitude. You need an amplifier and sensitive recording equipment, you can detect it. Are they interested in the diagnosis of schizophrenia symptoms? There's new findings. We're required to prevent and intervene. Provide resources. How many mega ray victims are there? How many emergency call outs responded? How many times do they call emergency services, fire ambulance and police when they use the LRAD? How many felons have they been arrested? How many assessments have they had? How many times have they put you for an assessment into mental health? What were the medical results and what were the outcomes on each occasion? Mental resources have been doubled. When the police intelligence used Megaray, they were in the Ku-ring-gai. They rolled it out across Australia. They were only in Hornsby and they rolled it out across Australia. It's all been brought down now. Some of the enterprise infrastructure solutions now. 454. So they're the people involved in Michelle's case. They have trouble identifying what diagnosis belongs to what symptom. They can't put intelligence on medications. ASIO has ascertained they said it was a substance abuse issue. ASIO have ascertained they seek these symptoms. They seek the symptoms. They make people feel drowsy, where patients find it hard to function on medication, facing numerous rejections, prejudice and various forms of discrimination in the medical body, diagnose that patients are sloppy, gluttonous, clumsy, lacking willpower and discipline as their symptoms of a lifelong condition. ASIO have ascertained they seek these symptoms. ASIO ascertained they mentioned they were apprehended. ASIO have ascertained they were doing the same ASIO work, ASIO investigation, medical issues, medical evaluations. medical standards and safeguards to protect health treatments with the South African military phone. Identify all the different things that were mentioned. I was recovering. ASIO have ascertained that Director Ha was recovering. ASIO have ascertained that Director Ha Gunatilaka's problems coincided with the medication schedule. ASIO have ascertained that these people are involved in Michelle's case. ASIO have ascertained they prepared to say that ASIO's work is false. ASIO have ascertained 100% of their patients are dissatisfied with the medication schedule, have failed their medication as a lifelong condition. ASIO asked who was involved in the medical resources and funding, job title and position. ASIO ascertained they're the ones that keeps wondering what's wrong with her. ASIO have ascertained their latest instructions given to the commanders and community latest fixated persons identify the various interactions with their patients, in some cases cause them to act weird, unusual. ASIO investigation, medical issues, medical evaluations, medical standards and safeguards to protect health treatments with the South African military phone at the LRAD. Handwritten notes. Investigation findings. Some of the signals work. Enterprise infrastructure solutions. If they fixated person, signals work. Patients have no control over their treatment. 445. I didn't present with any medical condition. They keep trying to put the patient back on depot. List itemize each patient. Who contacts the doctors, etc. More signals, enterprise infrastructure solutions. Number 7 out of 26. Successful missions. CTO. ASIO work. Some ASIO work. Some more ASIO work. diagnosis. They say 40 questions. Incorrect diagnosis. Police lying on their emergency health room technologies. Electronic health record. Everyone is saying that ASIO does their work. Emergency health room, electronic health record software. Online schizophrenic depot injection schedules prescription refills. Medical recovery program, that was me on the depot. ASIO recovery program. That was after the recovery program. When I got off the depot, I started exercising again, got back into shape. That's a list of my activities. Bike ride 6 a.m, running 2 laps of the ponds, park 20 minutes in the afternoon daily. Chores, domestic duties, reading analysis, ASIO investigations daily, talks of findings daily, diet modification, hobbies, gardening, old movies. About the ASIO's recovery program. Medical issues, medical evaluations, medical standards and safeguards to protect health treatments. This is trying to establish a credible link between police management practice and psychiatry. There's a process flow instrumentation diagram, patient, the mega ray, and the telephone. There we have all the symbols for a telephone engineering, the American National Standard, Canadian Standard, IEEE graphic symbols for electrical and electronic diagrams. There you have the symbol for the telephone, like a mushroom on a side. So that's in the drawings. In the electrical schematics with the LRAD. Police credible link to management and psychiatry, to management and psychiatry. Where they manage you on medication. You're able to. ASIO's medical investigation. Health records. Adding mega ray to the health record. That's the mega ray there. The product description. Mental disorientation. Cause target disorientation and mental confusion. Confirmed by Project Satan. Strobes against troops at night, mega ray. Product description. That's why they use it for, to cause mental health outcomes, along with a host of all other things. Some workarounds, enterprise solutions. Health protection guidance in Vegas sustained 100 milligram injection. Paliperidone, Jedi Department of Defense guidance and laboratory testing, LRAD. That instructs how to test for the LRAD. basically you wouldn't know what you know. It's not possible to know what you know without them providing a workaround, or alternatively the ADF can provide the recording. The ADF can notify them, but this is a step-by-step guidance on how to identify patients with the LRAD or not, and that includes in rural areas. Asymptomatic individuals may be tested, clinical judgment deemed appropriate, public health professionals according to with reference. DoD components most appropriate competing prevention and control procedures. Testing process. Test validate health outcomes, health treatments. 24. Mega-ray sonic weapon, how is sonic LRAD medicine health. That's another testing procedure. Medicine, LRAD medicine health. Medicare, medical necessary reasonable adequate to your condition. Preventative health screenings. Audio only conferencing. Applied behaviour analysis doesn't include LRAD medicine services except for completion of outcome measures. Enrolled mental health program in remote areas. Megas people. Authorised mega-ray sonic weapon and Howie sonic unit. Shift work does not meet guidance on essential critical infrastructure workforce. Concern for a change of Director ADCP duty status, including potential determination around fitness and suitability for duty. Testing considerations, mental health demonstration, a mental health care demonstration for the LRAD. That's the way you validate whether you're identity proofing, whether you're in intelligence or not. That's the way you determine whether you're intelligence or not. Core attributes and evidence collected. 1, you gather the core attributes and evidence. 2, you ascertain whether it's correct, evidence is validated. 3, the evidence is verified. If it is correct, determining whether your information is correct. That's the process. Testing considerations. Health order appeal. Office Inspector, VA's new electronic health record system. Attaching the mega-ray onto the electronic health record around the world. So that's global. That's a report on its progress. Attaching the recordings to your electronic health record. Over.